Hello folks and welcome back to Mindustry here. We're going to jump back into section 174 because we've completed it and it's all well and good. We have lots of resources available to us in this section, but we did not do a good job last go around. Basically, the entire half over here of our stuff got completely wiped out. So we need to go ahead and fix that. And if we remember, the circle was somewhere in here, right around this giant piece of coal here. So what I think I'm going to do instead is of rebuilding this area up here is establish a new wall area that's going to encompass this whole line here. And that should allow us to go through and really make sure that we have things on lock, set up, and then we can really start pumping out stuff with our dark sand and our coal, because I believe we're going to need a lot of the silicon and graphite to really get going here. So I'm not going to super hardcore worry about any of this stuff because we will eventually get there. But you can see as I right click, all of the stuff that used to be there. And what's cool is you can get rid of those old plans just by right clicking and holding over it. It's not actually deconstructing anything, but now when I kind of go to highlight anything, all of the previous stuff is gone, which makes me feel a little bit better, like it never happened. And for some reason, you can remove those little rocks. Cool. You can remove little rocks. Things I didn't know that you could do in Mindustry. All right, so we have our base level of scatters and stuff. We probably should have a backup defense area over here just in case anything were to happen where they get through our main defenses. I'm not going to put it all the way down here like we had before. I think up in this area will be just fine. Although I do want the coal, so maybe, you know what, we're going to go back in and just add in all the stuff we had before to make sure that we get our base level of defenses set in there. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up some walls. But I don't want to go crazy with the walls because I do want to pass through, because we're going to have resources that need to come up through here. So we're going to leave this area of the wall open. We'll probably leave this area here to do its thing. So it'll be, we have 4 or 5 belts worth of stuff that we can bring up. That should be totally fine. And then we'll go through and just defend these areas. This area over here is much, much weaker. That's okay, because we're going to add some other stuff that will make this a little bit better. But first we need to go through and get the base level of everything set. So it's basically redoing a whole bunch of the stuff we had done in the past, but just making sure that it's actually going to hold this time. So, and the reason, I should explain the reason why we're doing this and kind of get some of that done. Basically in Mindustry, your areas are secure. It says sector captured, but they're not actually done yet. Like, the bad guys can come back. They can start destroying your stuff after the fact. So I kind of don't want that to happen. I've completed this sector. I don't want to go back and have to redo stuff. So I'm just trying to go in here and make sure that we have all of our basic pieces established, done, that we don't have to redo any of the work that we've already done. I think I may go through and establish another graphite press area here and have it join in with this one just so we can get more of that. And we have plenty of coal to do that with. And looking at our power generation, we rebuilt this and we are currently making power, but not a lot. So we'll probably make another power plant as well here, because it's just going to be something that we're probably going to want to do. So we have just a ton of coal here. We don't need that much for what we're doing, but we're going to go through and just make sure we can maximize some of these areas. And we'll probably pull a little of this stuff off to be able to generate future things. But let's go through and get these areas set for some graphite presses. Actually, let me pull this one back. We're going to pull this all the way up over here. And then we'll put the graphite presses right in this area here. And I still want to play with the pyrite. We haven't talked about pyrite at all. We haven't done anything with it. I don't even remember, honestly, what it looks like. So we're going to go through here and figure that out as well. And then our sorter here, that's going to be just for graphite, and we should be in excellent shape to do that. You can see these are always outputting there, so he's going to start dumping out on that side. That's fine. But we are going through, we're very quickly making stuff. If I wanted to, I could probably make a little offshoot here, but I don't want to do that right now because I think we're okay. But we're starting to fill up this belt here, which is what I want. I want to have full production, basically a full belt of this stuff going in, making sure that we are just maximizing all the production that we possibly can here. We haven't filled up the belts yet. Let's go ahead and add another section of this stuff. Why not? Nope, not that one. Go through here. Nope, nope, nope. There we go. Okay. So we have that. Go through. Those guys are going there. Oh no, this is not going to work. Okay. We need to move them over one more because if we have anything, like I want to pull from down here and come down, they need to be over one. So we're going to set a router here. And then we'll pull down. And eventually it's going to go that way. But it can't be touching. This graphite press can't be on that corner or else it's not going to work. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then all we have to do is put in our, not overflow gate, we need to put in our sorter. And then we need to put in our router. And then this one should start producing stuff as well. And you can see this one's going to get backed up a little bit because it has to wait for this, which is fine because we're not going to use up all of this coal right out of the gate here. So we're going to start filling up this belt, and then this one's going to be full as well. This will eventually back up so that this coal is going to be useful for us, and we should be. You see how this line is already starting to back up. So we're going to always make sure we have a full line of our stuff going in there, which is exactly what I want. Let's go take a look back here at the research, see if there's anything that we haven't done. And there is. We have this guy up here, which is a Lancer. It fires powerful beam of energy at ground targets. Okay. And we need more silicon for that. So we're going to start, as we have a little bit of a safe space here, as there's nobody attacking us. I don't even remember where our silicon, whatever. Here it is. It's right here. So we're suffering production because we don't have enough coal going into that because we are feeding our power plants to make sure we have those. So we can help that out if we want to by removing that. But before we do that, we need to make sure we have more production of power, which we're going to do right over here. So let's go in and mine some of our coal. And all of that, the only purpose of this coal is going to be to provide power. And it's going to go in there like so. We will add our routers on. That should be fine. And then I'm going to put in a node first, making sure it covers those, just because then we can put our batteries, and the second that it starts producing power, we'll start collecting it, which is kind of what I want to have here. And then we have our combustion generators. Those guys are going. It's producing power and it's saving it up. Now we can go in and we can start making sure that our all of this stuff goes through. And we have this. And you can see this guy's clearing out now because they're not maximizing out, but we still have full belts going out, which is what we want. And now we can just go through. And my only purpose in this is to try to connect the two energy sources or power production areas together so that if either one comes under attack or anything happens to it, we have our bases covered with all this stuff. So we have that guy. And then we have that one. Now we should be able to see that our overall energy production is way up, and we are going to remove this entire area right here. And we'll be able to start producing more of this so that we have that to go through and be able to do more things with. So we still don't even have enough of that. We have enough for the solar panels, so that's good. Illuminators, we don't have enough for that. And then a microprocessor, we don't have enough for that yet. So down here, we're probably going to do something with this wall as well. Because while it's great, it's going to block off a lot of stuff. But if we take a look at this, we have just an absolute tremendous amount of this stuff here, which is great. But we want to be able to produce some silicon smelters there to really make sure we're maximizing all of the stuff that we have. So we go through here, knock out those, Alright, we're going to have just a tremendous amount of coal coming out here. And I think we're going to have that go up. So there's going to be just stupid amounts of coal coming out of there. This whole area is dark sand, so we don't even have to worry about like picking the right spot to mine for that. We can just mine it. So this is just going to be stupid because what I think I'm going to do is have multiple lines here. So we'll have 2 things of sand, and eventually we'll get 2 things of coal going to produce all the silicon that we could possibly ever want, I hope. So I'm going to build these way out of here. So 1, 2, 3. And once I get one of these, I can just rebuild all of it together. I'll just copy and paste it. I guess I could do that now, but I'm not going to. Alright, so we have that. Router, router, router. Skip the space, router, router, router. And then, not a distributor. I don't know why I always do that. Junction, junction, junction. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we have that. We're going to feed this top line of this stuff into here. And then we'll feed this line into there. Now, they're not going to do anything yet because it doesn't have power. But what I also want to do here is I'm going to go in and copy this entire thing right there. You can see they're loading up with stuff, which is fine. That's what we want. No, no, no. See, I'm really not that good at this game. 1, 2, 3. And then this whole belt's going to be taking stuff over. So this one's going to come up. I didn't build this close enough, so we're just going to move all of this stuff. So we're going to reverse this setup here. This one is junction, router, junction, router. We're going to go router, junction, router, junction. Because I did not build this part far enough away. Because I wasn't paying attention. And because I like having everything separated by 2 if you haven't noticed already. So this guy's going to come in and go there. And then we can have our secondary one come up and go in there like so. Okay. Oh, and then we also, I guess, need to have it go into all of the junctions as well. All right. So we have that. I'm going to set up a router at this point. Again, we're going to keep the bottom one fed as our sand. No, 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 no. Okay. See, when you don't think all the way through things, you have the junctions there, or the routers there, they're going to just dump stuff out onto places you don't want it to. So, yeah, don't follow my lead. Think through things before you do them. But we'll get those rebuilt there. Cool. This will come over. And then this guy here, that will be able to go up and into there without any problems. All right, so we have the basic setup here for all of this. What I eventually would love to have happen is in our power area, we have our solar panels. I'd love to just have a big solar farm power all this stuff. The problem is that we've seen that there's been a lot of stuff going on that's not going to allow it to work. So if we've like the sandstorms, they're going to cause problems for us. So that's going to be an issue that we'll have to deal with at some point. But for right now, I think, well, there's really no bad guys right now, so it's not something we need to immediately deal with. But eventually, we're going to have to make sure we have enough power that's without those. And also, I don't have enough of those resources really to dedicate to power production. So we're just going to build another little area here that will be our main power plant for those. And then we'll build off of that. So let me just build our batteries really quickly here. And our generators in place. And let's see here. All right, so we have that one. And then we have that one. You can see that they are producing all of the stuff we need to do. And we're going to have it come up through this area here. We are going to have to play with this just a little bit to make sure it's efficient and that it doesn't cause any problems with our other stuff. So I'm going to remove all of that. And also this router here. Because if I don't remove this router, it's going to dump stuff onto our spot. And our goal is just to put one that turns in there. Okay, so now we can have our system go out here, like so. And again, this entire system is not really protected at all right now. We will get there, but I want to get this joint up or as a new belt going into our other one. So we'll deal with that here in just a moment. But you can see that we are filling that belt up beautifully. And then we can also have this come up and over. And have it routed in here with everything to try to maximize that belt. So we have the full side here. We could get 2 more in there as far as belts going in. And it's coming up. It has to go a long ways. We're starting to see a few breaks in this, but you can see this guy over here is filling up. These guys are producing everything we need, so that's a good sign. What we probably could do if we wanted to is break out a router here so only half of this stuff goes, and we can maximize production a little bit more going in. But in order to do that, we'd need to remove one of these so we have another line going in. Might as well. Okay. Didn't need to remove that one, but that's okay. We'll deal with it. So we have a secondary belt that's going to go in here that we will address in just a moment. So we're going to have a router there that will go over, then come down and connect with this belt. Now this is going to clear out this belt a little bit so it's not full, but that's okay because, well, we don't really need it to be full. It's going to stay relatively full, especially as this line kind of clears out, but that's fine. We have that. This power is fine. We're producing what we need, but we do want to connect this to our other power system just to make sure that we have everything consistent. And if something gets knocked out as far as one power spot, we are producing from multiple locations and have multiple backups, unlike our protections from last time where we didn't have that at all. Alright, so we have that. Now when we look at our power production, we're still making plenty of power. We are storing plenty of power. That is all well and good. Probably am going to, you see how when they fire, they go through there. We'll probably go through and do some more stuff with that. But we are fine as far as that goes. We need to focus on protection, and then we also need to focus on Pyrite. We have Pyrite as a mixer there. We have not used it. And going back, not to our tech tree, we have the Lancer. And then we have some shock mines. Release electric arcs upon enemy contact. Cool, we have that. We already have those. And then we're going to go to the Illuminator and also the micro bits. We just need to produce a little bit more stuff for that. But that should not be a big deal since we have this stuff just flowing in here kind of with reckless abandon, and that's what I want. So we have this guy going over. I really could just dump this one right on with the other belt, which I might do just to save some resources as we start producing Pyrite. I don't know if we need Pyrite collected in the core or not, but might as well do it just to save stuff if we can. And you can see we're really producing a lot of that right now. This is just maxed out belt. That looks good. This guy is not maxed out yet, but when this one combines with this one, we get 2 almost full belts, and that's fine. I'm happy with that. We have lots of production, and we have lots of potential for more production. There's a lot of coal over here, more coal here. I don't know what this stuff is. And then we have some iron, some more coal there that we can't do anything with. Let's go ahead and just kind of roughly mark off the areas that we are not going to kind of approach. So I'm going to do something like this and bring that down to there. And that's basically going to signify, hey, this is the bad guy area. We're going to build all of our main defenses here and then scatter some other things throughout just to make sure that we're safe and effective. Now, one of the things that's nice here is the stuff we've gotten here. We have our duo and our scatters, which require ammo in order to work. We have a scorch as well, which also requires ammo. If we take a look at the scorch, it does a lot of damage if it's provided with coal. It does even more damage, 25 damage. It's a 4 times ammo multiplier if we use Pyrite. So we're going to use that as well. But it's a close range weapon. The scatter's a long range, but it's only for air. But we also have these lancers. They are long range weapons, and they said they're at ground. Now the problem with that is that, or the blessing with that, is that it requires power. It requires a tremendous amount of power, but we can do it because all we have to do is scatter the nodes, and that's its ammo essentially, is going through and making that. So we're going to set up Pyrite production to 1, feed some scorches, and 2, to power our combustion generators, because if we take a look, it says it can use Pyrite, and we should be in really good shape if we can have that production set up. Then we can stop using so much coal to focus on power production, and we can focus it on other things like graphite and such. Let me go back into the research area. We'll finish the microprocessor. Oh, we can get a switch. We have a message. I don't know what any of these do. We have a memory cell, and then everything else is locked. But I think, oh, we also have this area here, a core foundation. It's armored stone, reduces more sure. Okay, we can do that, but in order to do that, it requires just a tremendous amount of resources. We need 3,400 of the silicon. We already have the lead and the copper that we need for that, but we need to max out some other stuff. So we'll get there eventually, but for right now, that's not a primary concern of mine. My primary concern right now is to look at the Pyrite mixer. So if we take a look at the Pyrite mixer, it requires 1 coal, 2 lead, and 2 sand in order to do what it's going to do. I think we're going to focus its production right over here. We have some lead. Maybe we could do it over here in this area. But we have the resources we need in order to get this done. So we're going to go in. I don't want to go there because it's going to interfere with my coal on that. But if we can do these, cool. And then we can do those. Alright, so we have our lead. That's going to make stuff for us. And the only thing I don't like about this setup right now is that we're very close to that wall. So if there's anything that wants to cause us heartache and sorrow, it only has to get past that wall, and we are in Destruction City, as we've experienced in the past. But that's okay. We'll address that as we move forward here. We just need to worry about making sure we have enough power to do everything, and then once we have enough power, we can really play with everything here. So we have our coal production. We have that, and then we also need our sand, so not a big deal. Now we have to put 3 resources into getting this to work, so I'm going to have to play a little game here to see how to best do this. Let's just place 1 down, and then if it works, we can copy and paste it. So we'll put our Pyrite mixer, let's say, let's put it over here. Okay. And then we can start figuring out how we want to do this. So we're going to do router. That will be a junction. So feeding in. We'll have stuff coming like this. And then eventually that will head out over. We have our output coming out. And then we're going to do this. Have it come over and another router there. And that will be our other input. So we'll have coal input, we'll have our lead, and then we'll have our sand. I think that's how I'm going to have that work. Oh, the ordering is not important, but you get the idea here. So let's go in here. I think we're actually just going to dump that down to the bottom. So coal's going to go there, should be going through. Then from there, we can get our lead in. And then, ooh, hold on. Apparently we can't build where this black liquid is, which I'm assuming is oil. I don't remember. It's been a while since I played the game. But we have our resources coming in here. So I just want to make sure everything feeds in where it's supposed to feed into, which it looks like it is. And then we just need to provide power to this. So let's go in here. I wonder if we could just dump it right onto that line. That would be fun if we could just say, hey, you're just going to power that area there. But before we do that, let's go in here and provide power. There we go. We have a new element, Pyrite. We go in here and look. It has been there. It's used as incendiary weapons, combustion for a fuel-based generator. Okay, so we can do that. And I don't see really anything else. So we have our Pyrite. We have the resources we need. And at this point, what we can do is we can just copy and paste. So we can go through here and do that. Copy that guy. And then we should have all of the stuff that we need to do to make that a thing. And I'm going to put a router on this because we may want to do other things with that, but I'm going to have that half of this stuff feed over to power our generators. And we'll see what kind of impact that has on our overall power production. Okay, that's going to make a lot of power for us. Let's go in and add on some more combustion generators. And now we're producing gobs of power. You can see how fast this belt is moving through. It's just feeding everything in there. And that's fine because we are mixing all of our resources. We're kind of getting a backlog of coal here, which is what we want because this is starting to kind of wear out a little bit. And if we go through and do double stuff where we remove this router, it's going to matter too. But maybe we just don't worry about that and we just dump this onto there. And that's going to be all the production we need for that. Now, I want to take a look at these illuminators as well. You can see there's like light areas where power is being made, but everywhere else is dark. If I put an illuminator, ooh, that's fun. What kind of impact does that have on our power? Are they LED based? 3 units of power. That seems like a lot for what they do, but whatever. Makes me feel better that I can see all of my stuff and it's not like wavering or anything. It's just lit. All right, let's go over here. I don't know if there's any defensive bonus or anything, but I like being able to see stuff. What I do like also is that there's now night and day. I didn't really notice that before, but we have a definite night and daytime in the game now, especially that we have solar panels. That's going to be a little bit more important to what we're doing. But we have basic stuff being shown there. This area, if they were to ever fly over here, they have a straight shot in with no defensive measures, so I may split this off and put some scatters over here along with up here just to make sure that we have defenses here, because again, the one line of defense thing didn't really work out so well for us. Never rely on one line of defense, so we'll just do something like that. We'll get some scatters set in there. like so. And then I'm also going to put some along here. So let's just get some scatters. 1, 2, 3. I'm not going crazy with them. I don't think there's any imminent threat or really real threat at all for right now. There are some scatters back here at least. But we can at least try to minimize some of the damage that may happen with this. Now the other thing that we ran into last time, especially over here, once they started overrunning this, was once they broke this belt, this entire defensive line was toast. So what I'd like to do is, oh yeah, we were going to originally feed all this stuff out that way. What I also want to do is get some of the electrical stuff, because those at least, we have multiple nodes and you have to knock out, like for this thing to stop working, you have to knock out that node and it will shut down the production of this stuff, which in theory will then shut down our electricity production, which is not the best. So we're going to have to defend this area as well, but we can deal with that here in just a moment. But let's take a look here and see what we have as far as options go. Not a lot. We don't have any aerial stuff, so we're going to have to deal with that, and then we'll go back through and work on some other things. But let's see. Oh, we have some air options over here. All right, so we're going to go through and do something like that. We're going to get rid of that one. We're just going to make a line going across here to provide some scatters. Again, the only purpose is really to protect this line here from air attack. And then we'll go back and kind of determine what we want to do. All of this is reactionary to our previous failures, which is fine. We have another one up here, so maybe we'll put in another drill. Go through and have this area be defended by some scatters as well. It's going to take quite a while for those to fill up, but that's okay, we have time. Alright, we have that. We have those. And at least we have some aerial defenses back this way. We don't really have much here, but we do have more lead, so we'll go through and put those in there. You can see I really don't want to be attacked again, so I'm just going to provide some better defenses, and by better I mean actual defenses this time around, to make sure that we can provide for our belts and all that stuff, that we have protection all the way through. So I'm going to bring, let's see, down to there and over. That should be enough to protect this area. And then I theoretically guess I could bring this up, over, bring it to there, bring it down, and over again. And we already have scatters there. This area should be fine. We could put a couple scatters up in this area if we wanted to, so. This is the most reactionary version of the game I've ever played, but that's okay. I don't want to have to go back to this world and figure out how to defend it better and all of that. I want all of the defenses that we would possibly need to be in place or ready to go, so that we don't have what happened last time happen again. And I'm really loading up here on some of these production areas, because those are the ones that were attacked in the past. We will have to go back and fix that for the areas that weren't attacked, because they're not as strong as they need to be. So we're just adding in the base level stuff here. The nice thing is we have plenty of resources, so it's not like we're hurting anything. We just need to make sure that we get all of these full up, and then we have this whole area is really under control. This area up here is not, but I don't see them getting up there. We have this one. We have this area here. And then we have our pyrite mixers going crazy and doing their thing. We're probably gonna, I'm just gonna add some, So we need lead in order to provide some more air protection, but we don't really have many sources of it through here. So that's gonna be a problem for us. We might just tap off of this one and bring it out, even though it's not the best source of lead. It's better than what we have now. Well, let's go through and I think we're going to provide some duos here, although there's not a good source of stuff there. I think what we're going to do is actually go through and do our first line of arcs. So we'll go every other. And I'm just going to let it build a couple of them, then I can copy and paste. And when I do that, I should also set. Okay, so we have that set. Now I can go in here. That's just so much faster. Now these guys, we have not really used them. They have full health, but no power and no liquid. We haven't really approached liquid or have the option to do anything with that yet, so we're not going to worry about that quite yet. But essentially, these guys are going to shoot out little bits of electricity that will shock our system, or shock the bad guys and kind of destroy them. And I don't think they use crazy amounts of power. So when we take a look here, they've damaged that. And what do they use? So they use 198 units of power per second. Okay, they use a lot of power, especially when you're taking a look here what we're actually producing right now. We are up 300 something, but we have almost 100,000 things of stored electricity in batteries. So battery is going to be kind of important for us here as we store all this stuff up. Because when they're going and all those things are firing, it's going to be one heck of a show. And now they should have power. We're also going to bring power down from here. We may actually go through and start making additional power in that area. But let's go through here. And basically my goal here is to provide multiple points of failure. So if they knock out one node, it doesn't cripple our defense system like it did last time, where they knocked out our line of stuff and we were pretty much toast. Because once they breached this wall originally, the game was pretty much over as far as using that as a defensive line anymore. Alright, so we have those. So all those are touching each other, they're talking. I don't know why those aren't connecting, whatever. We can build solar in here, I guess. No, let's not do that. Let's go with some more defenses here. So we're going to go next with Lancers. We're going to go kind of every set of nodes. So 1, 2. And I still need to build stuff down on this side too. I'll get there in just a moment. But our goal right now is just to really make sure that we don't get blown up. I don't want to get blown up. I don't want to see that happen to us. So we're just going to go through and really make sure that we have everything we need to have here fully set and established. Alright, we have that. And let's just build the Lancer as well. And then we can make copies of this whole thing once that's built. I think that will do what we need it to do. And there's lead right there, of course. The resource that we need to mine is right there. But we have that. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull lead off of this belt. We'll combine a little there, and we'll put our scatters as another line back here. And then I think we have all the defenses that we could possibly have at this point in the game, other than the Scorches. We don't have those, but we just don't have the resources for them right now. And then once we do that, I think we fixed all of the many errors that I've made when we set this up the first time around. They should be fixed, and we can go for it and hopefully have a nice productive system of the game going. But let's just get the rest of this built through here. And we'll see where these are going to come down at. So we're going to take it off of this one. Right down. There'll be another drill right there, which is not producing a lot, but it's producing more than what we have now, which is 0. And then we'll have those feed right into there. And this one will go this way. So we'll have this entire area covered with lancers, with arcs, and with our other pieces. And then from there, oh, there's a southern area. I guess we need to worry about that as well. But we can cover that pretty easily. Oh, and look at all, there's a huge source of lead. So we can do that, and this area here should be pretty easy to blockade because it's not very complex. But we have a source of lead, thank God. So let's go through and just mine that real fast, get it drilled out. Alright, we have that. We can bring that straight up for a long time. And I guess back on that line, we should probably put some menders in there as well. Although they use up a lot of electricity, it might be easier just to build the stuff than to actually fix them. But I don't know if that's the case or not. Alright, and then we can put some more lancers here to get everything established. Okay, we have our lead on its way up. This guy's already getting ammo because he's touching this drill there, but we have more coming up, which is great. We're going to establish a nice big blockade right in here. Let's see if we can find a spot that actually gets... There we go. And what's nice about these big blockades is the bad guys will focus on those, and then you can have like lancers just sit here and just line them up and wail on them a bit. So I'm just going to make a line of lancers, and then we'll put some scatters behind them. And then we just need to provide some power to these things. And this is probably the weakest part of our defenses right now because we have this long belt that's feeding power or feeding our ammo into this, but it's not really doing too much. But what we can also do here real fast is put a router right there. And we'll feed onto this belt because you can see this is the only one that's not backed up. So if we can fill this belt as it goes in, we'll be able to make a lot more pyrite, which will provide us more consistent electricity, because you can see how it's kind of varying a little bit. We can go through and do that, and we should be in good shape. Let's take a look and just make sure. You can see how it's filling up more. And yeah, I'm happy with that. It's not killing our production on there. It's doing its job. And I may just put a few scatters here and there just to Air Force wise defend this belt to make sure that it is not going to get messed with at all. And I guess I should do that going all the way down, but I'm not going to. I know, I should, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. And then we're going to build some more routers here. And that's just going to help feed those guys, so we're in good shape. You can see this line is being taken up a little bit just because we did that, but it's backing up now. It's using very minimum as far as the amount of stuff going in here, but we are producing a lot more pyrite at this point, which is good. We have this going up. That looks all good. These guys are maxed out. And what I think I'm going to do here is take some of this lead production that's extra and just bring it over into one of these lines, because we have so much. Well, right now our lead is really weak. We need more. So we're just going to feed that and give it what it needs, because this is just a lot right now. And it will clear out. It's only providing 2. It's not a big deal. This one's a lot more, so we're going to bring that and put that onto that belt as well. So we have our lead going there. This lead is being... Oh, we even have a line of them that is not being used. So we have that. Those are going to go in there, and our lead production should go way up. So taking a look here, this area does not have a lot of protection as far as ground stuff goes. We're going to put in some arcs and lancers in there. More arcs. Lancers, if we take a look here, lancers take a while to fire. So when we go through here on their cycle, their range is pretty far, but you can see its shots per second is 0.74. If we go to the arc, we get 1.6. So it's going to take more than a second for the Lancer to fire. This one's going to fire 1. It's basically double the speed. So if we're looking for ground defenses where it's a moving target, we're probably going to want something that allows it to move there. We have lots of production coming up with the lead. So we're just going to throw a couple of these in randomly near our power areas just to make sure that if somebody does come ground-wise, we have something to say stop. And then I think we're pretty much done with this section. We've significantly increased the defensive parts of this, and I think we'll be in good shape here. And again, I haven't played this game in a long time. I don't know the best strategies for any of this stuff, but I gotta assume having the arcs there protecting the nodes, and if they get knocked out, they get knocked out. But we at least have some protection for our parts here. And everything is protected in the air for the most part. So we have all of those. All of this stuff is protected. Let's go through, well, our lancers cover all the way up to these scatters, so maybe we'll just put a couple of arcs down a little further just in case. Lancers use a tremendous amount of lead. They're 50 a pop, so that's a lot. And then put some more over here. Just trying to cover our bases, make sure we get as much as we can, protect it. You can see our lead production is back down in the tubes. But we'll get the basic parts in here, get them covered. We do not have a lot of lead. I don't think we're actually going to be able to go to the next part of the world because we just can't. We don't have the resources to do so. You can see we're actually backing up here, so we're producing tons of pyrite, which is great because that's what we need. Our power is consistent. We have producing significant amounts of it. And we're going to put some battery backups in here as well, just as the last thing to do. But other than that, I think we're okay. So we're just going to put in a giant battery system here. And I really like these like square looking setups of battery. Batteries require lead. Each one is 20, so it's going to take a little while to produce those. And then after that, I think we are in good shape. We have this area being protected. All of this stuff, you can see the lights on there. Everything is protected. So that's good. And our production for power is plus 300, and sometimes it dips down and goes all the way up to 400 and dips down like the 250s. But we also are storing a whole bunch of electricity right now. So with these new batteries, we're probably going to be up around 200,000, which when you're thinking of, hey, you're only producing 400 a second and we're able to store 200,000, it should significantly help us out here. So I like to keep batteries around just because if power plants get knocked out, if a belt or something gets knocked offline, we still have a supply of battery power that can keep us going. It's kind of like a Tesla Powerwall or something like that. Just a good battery backup to have to keep us going here. And I think other than that, we are in outstanding shape. We just need to wait for our lead production to kind of go back to a reasonable level. And once we have that, we should be done with what we need to do here. We do have some additional lead that's available down here, so let's just, since this is the area that we're really struggling with right now, might as well maximize as many spots as we can on that. So that one we're just going to pull over, up, over, and that's just going to get dumped onto that line. And then hopefully that will help us supply a little bit more. But I think we're in good shape. We have pretty much everything we need. I wish we can get over to this area. That would be awesome, but I have no way of getting the resources that we have there over this wall. The bridge isn't going to work because everything when we go in a straight line does stuff, and I don't know if there's another way to do it. If you do, let me know. But this is our setup here. I'm pretty happy with it. And we have some lancers. We have lots of protection here. Again, we're entirely reliant on electricity. If our electricity gets knocked out, we are toast. So maybe we'll put a couple of menders just to make sure we're okay. But beyond that, I think we are in really good shape for what we need to do here. And we'll put them over here as well, so going down. Okay, so we have our stuff done, ready to go. We are using up our power. We are using up significantly more power right now. I think these menders are using up a tremendous amount of power. So we may want to increase our last piece here. I know I keep adding things to do to our list here, but I want to make sure that we are set and ready. So our energy production should go up here, which we can see it has gone up just with that little addition there. We can mine more here, but I think we're good for what we have today. So we've gone through and we re-added in this long belt. We have some protection on it, but it's not a big deal. We have stuff here, but really this is our main protection wall, and we have power going all the way back through and on this side. So there's two spots of power. We have air protection all the way through that main line. This area is very devoid of air protection, but as you get back, we have air protection here and throughout our main other areas. So if for any reason they make it through this area, this stuff is probably going to go away, but that's not a big deal. The pyrite is powering, I guess it is kind of a big deal, but we have some stuff we can deal with on that end a little bit later that we can look at. But maybe we'll split off one of these, how to go over and just make sure we're defending our power areas. But really for them to get past this, it's going to be quite the challenge, and hopefully we should be in good shape. But I think that's going to wrap us up here for today. If you have questions, comments, concerns, let me know, and let me know what you think of what we're doing so far, and more importantly, where we should go next. I'll see you later.